Well, we have Dan O'Reilly here today from Sterling Financial Advisors. Always good to have you on.
Nice bow tie.
You like that bow tie? I think, one day I got to get a spinning one.
Or one with lights.
One with
lights.
lights.
The blinks.
Yeah, that would be really good. I keep thinking I'm going to do that for the holidays, and I always forget to get that. So
I guess you should have one with rabbits now coming up for Easter.
that's right. There you go. Hey, see, you just gave me an idea. Well, great to have you on today. And what we're going to talk about, of course, I mentioned it earlier, is how the stock market has performed during viral outbreaks over the years.
Fun ride on the stock market over the last week.
Right. And we were just kind of commenting, and I don't know, I haven't checked this at all. You would think that Costco stock would be up, but I don't know about that.
My daughter-in-law says she went to Target the other day and they just moved everything out of the aisle and put paper towels in the whole aisle.
Wow.
So I don't know. People, bless their heart, my daughter-in-law, or my daughter, she lives up in Utah. Somebody up there posted a thing on Facebook that says, all you idiots that went out and bought all of the children's aspirin, I can't find any now that my daughter is actually sick.
Yeah.
And so they're, they said, my daughter actually needs it right now, and everybody's just hoarding things. So,
yeah, yeah, very true.
But the market, I think it's more of an emotional thing than it's not like we've had bad unemployment numbers or bad manufacturing numbers.
There was like 250,000 jobs they announced added in February.
Right, right. The economy is still strong. I think they're more concerned about the supply line from China versus anything else, but we're still a strong economy, and it's a more. I don't think it's the small investors that are doing this. I think it's the institutional investors that are their programs indicate you ought to be selling or whatever. But as they say in the market, I think I read one time that the time to buy is when the blood runs in the streets.
Right.
Now may not be a bad time to be buying.
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows?
And it's interesting. Over the years, you brought some information, and there's a chart that you sent that I was going to put up. But it's quite interesting that over time, in some cases, when we've had these different types of outbreaks, the market actually went up. It dipped a little bit, then skyrocketed.
They had AIDS and SARS and the swine flu and everything. The market actually, in a 1 month period, went up. That's because there's a big drop, and then they realize that there's nothing to it.
Right.
And then it starts to work its way back up. What dropped last week, 1,200 points, which was the largest drop, and then it went up 1,200 points.
Right. Yes.
So we're kind of on this roller coaster right now, and I think that if there's a vaccine that gets developed, I think you'll see a lot of this go away.
Right.
You just don't know, but I think the market has been looking for a reason to correct. We've had this 10-year bull market, so to speak.
Right.
And there really hasn't been anything that has given it reason to correct. I think that corrections are sometimes okay because it brings value back into the market.
Right. And it seems in general, the industries that are affecting the most, of course, the travel industry.
Right.
And in some cases, you could say like entertainment venues and things like that. But most everything else is certainly the retail industry is doing fine.
We've got my wife and I have a trip planned to Hawaii in a couple of weeks, and so we get the opportunity of flying on airplanes. And that's always a big thing. But I don't know that it's any different than what it's always been.
Right.
Obviously that there's a little bit more concern, but if you look at who is the people that it affects as far as deaths and things like that, generally they're older people that have had health problems, like me. No, I'm kidding. Older people, but generally I think this is more an emotional situation than it is economical.
Right, and they mentioned that on the CNN special last night, and they mentioned flying in a plane. And they go, you know what? You should always be wary, no matter when
you're
it
at.
is,
Yeah, it
is
doesn't.
maybe bringing wipes, and they said the tray table is the #1 thing.
Oh, really?
You know, that's true of any time.
Right.
No more so now than it was a year ago.
Right.
And surprisingly, and I didn't know this, I forget what it was, but how often the air in a plane has actually changed. I think they said 12 times an hour.
Yeah, it's recycled.
It's actually quite a bit
and they
more.
clean it up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that.
Right. The thing about it is there's always buying opportunities with situations like this. Okay, the market was down, I think 12% last week. You know, in 1987 there was a stock market crash, and it went down 25% in one day.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
that's called Black Monday.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, at that time, the percentage was significant. It only went down 500 points, but it represented 25% in a day.
Yeah.
Now, if that was the case, it would be like 20 or 6,000 points in one day.
Yeah.
And we got nervous because it went down 1,200 points.
Right.
You know, so we need to take this into perspective along the way. That's not to say that it doesn't affect us psychologically, but, you know, setting up a foundation for your plan where you aren't whipsawed back and forth by the market is important.
Right, and you've mentioned that over and over again, that you know you want yourself and you want your clients to be able to sleep at night.
Right.
And there are ways to be able to do that to avoid that up and down. And, you know, it doesn't mean you're going to be getting 15–20%.
Right.
But you're going to be sleeping at night, and you know your whatever you have, your equity is safe.
I had a gentleman come in, it's a fairly sizable estate last week. I mean, and he's always been in what I call the accumulation mode. I'm always trying to build more from, and he had several $1 million in his estate. And I talked to him about maybe taking a portion of that and setting up that foundation so it's not whipsawed back and forth by the market. You know, rather than getting 8, 10, 15%, maybe you're getting 4 to 6%, but you're not going to be whipsawed back and forth. And if something goes to hell in a handbasket with the market, it doesn't affect your foundation. And so I think that's important to set up psychologically a secure things. I got a current client in right now that psychologically she can't take this. You know, she's got some money and she's got a few $1 million in the market, but that in and of itself is just freaking her out. You know?
And I can understand that.
So we're probably going to move her into a little bit more secure place, but it's going to create a lot more psychologically comfort to her, not to be worrying about it.
I love roller coasters, but not necessarily when it comes to that.
Going up the first hill is okay. It's going down the first hill is not so fun.
Well, if you want to get a hold of Dan, you certainly can. He is right up the street in Mission Viejo by the Social Security office off Acero and Geronimo. And his number...
A couple of seminars coming up on the 12th and 16th.
Okay. And you got space available?
There's some space available. We hold those at Ruth, Chris, and Irvine. So it's not too far, maybe 15 minutes up the freeway. And if they would like to come, they could call the office.
All right, very good. The number is on the screen. And if you want, 859-8900 or sterlingfa.com. And, you know, they can help you out. Sit down and just give you a consultation and see if what you have fits.
We don't know if we can help until we meet with you. You know, so.
That's true. Good to see you, Dan.
Good to
take
see
care.
you.
We'll be right back.
All right.
Doing fist bumps today.